Well, this afternoon, flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is questioning the integrity of the results, recent ones, of course, coming through from the West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination. According to John Dramani Mahama, some invigilators relaxed on their job as teachers were found aiding students in answering some of the questions. His comments come after the Education Minister, Dr. Techiman, announced that this year's result is the best since 2015. The president, who is on what he calls Building Ghana tour, believes that the development will have some dire consequences on the country's educational system in the future. Nana Yaojima has the rest of the story.
Professional and economic groupings continue to honor invitation of the NDC to aid the drawing of the party's manifesto by voicing challenges of their sectors. Throughout the 6 regions toured, teachers have featured prominently. At Infansiman constituency, the non-availability of textbooks after change of curriculum was a major worry.
My teachers in onye esua funara enti yan papa dem yesre da seba the textbooks in my umbra.
The teachers and students are suffering because of non-availability of textbooks. We plead that you help us when you come. Also, the free SHS has to be reviewed because the double track system is not allowing teachers to get some rest.
Because first track, second track,
the former president shared in their worry.
We are worried about the lack of textbooks. My curriculum for textbooks in Niho. I wonder what kind of government this is. Our education system is in shambles.
Mr. Mahama further expressed his reservation over the recent results being released in the West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination. The 2023 results is the best since 2015. The Education Minister, Yao Osei Educhum, has already attributed the gains to the dedication of teachers. But Mr. Mahama has made different observation.
After 1 year exams are in many places, one checking Quadano, they let the children cheat freely. You go to places and the teachers are conniving with the children to cheat. The effect of this will be seen later. Because you certify these children, you say he's of this standard, either basic BECE or SSCE, and that child will use that certificate, go abroad to a school, and they'll find that in Ghana your qualification is not up to what you say it is. It is going to affect this nation. They think we're just doing it. Anytime the results come, you say, oh, the children have performed better than they ever performed before. You know, and we all know what is happening in the system. And I know you're teacher for, we will reorder things so that things are done properly.
Improving the education sector remains priority of the NDC. A government investment into housing scheme for teachers is among top policies to improve the sector. A promise of reviewing the free SHS policy in the first 100 days remains paramount. For Joy News, Nana Yaojima reporting.
Well, on this, Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, is joining us now with some more analysis on this. And just before we listen to your reactions on this, the Education Minister a couple of days ago was on the Joy News channel, especially on Newsfile, justifying what he calls as very high standards in the education sector. I want you to listen to that briefly and juxtapose that to, what John Dramani Mahama said.
So that's good news because we are getting the best. If we were passing everybody on, nobody will fail. What NTC and we all discussed they should do is to get steady materials. Because it's a new exam. And I think it's not fair to the person coming to write the exam that he can't pick up a book and read and prepare. Because obviously, the content of the exam should be exposed to them.
Well, these are the claims going around that, the people are just being passed. But from your own, analysis of what's happening, do you believe that indeed the standards are not being stuck to?
that what Mr. Mahama said is not new. He is probably the last person to say this. Everyone has said it. So there's nothing new about what he said. It is confirmed by WAEC in all their reports. It is confirmed by Edward, and every keen observer on the Wasi Street has expressed concern about the level at which collusion between candidates, supervisors, and invigilators, it's escalating. And the tendency.
And Mr. Zari, we seem to be having a challenge hearing you. If you could just speak up for us so we can get the points you're making. We've lost Kofi Asare there, of course, and these are some of the issues going around with the Education Ministry now being subjected to criticism from the former President, John Dramani Mahama. While still on education, Member of Parliament for Techiman South, Martin J. Mensah Kosa, has awarded the overall best teacher in this constituency with a brand new car. 83 other teachers were also honored with some gifts such as brand new motorbikes, tablets, we have tabletop fridges, fans, laptops, and many more for their meritorious services to the education sector within the Techiman municipality. There's more in this report.
42-year-old Frimpong Emmanuel was adjudged the overall best teacher for the 2022 MyCamp Teachers Award, an award scheme organized by the Member of Parliament for Techiman South constituency. The legislator, who doubles as the Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, first introduced this award scheme in the year 2018 to, amongst other things, motivate teachers in the Techiman North and South constituencies to do more to help improve education across the area. Emmanuel, whose sacrificial exploits towards education earned him the recognition, was cheered and carried shoulder high after his name was mentioned as the winner of the brand new Maruti S Precious Saloon car. Emmanuel Frimpong, a teacher at the Tra MA Basic School, described the recognition as a motivation to do more.
As the Bible says, you give, if you give, it shall be given unto you. And it's serving as motivation because looking at the nature and the value of this award, I was not dreaming about it. And it will ginger me to be able to put up my best to help that needy child and then an innocent child elsewhere who also become a teacher or a president or nurse in future, because I see this award as something valuable and that is going to add more value to my work.
The group informed the Member of Parliament's decision to single-handedly introduce the MyCamp Teachers Award. Martin J. Mensah Kosa says the move is basically to recognize as well as appreciate the efforts of teachers across the area.
It is the third in the series of those awards, and it's basically to motivate our teachers to give up their best, to excel at what they do, and to recognize and appreciate their efforts. That we like what they do, and we encourage them to do it better.
He further emphasized that his resolve to support education is to help build the human resource capacity of the municipality, which according to him is key to nation building.
It's because the essence of the human resource or quality human resource is critical for our nation building, and we cannot do otherwise. And so that for me informs the reason why there's a particular attention and priority in our approach to uplifting education.
Well, let's bring in the Executive Director for the Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, who's joining us again. Earlier, sir, we're having some challenges, of course, hearing from you, but I was just asking about, the statement coming through from John Dramani Mahama.
I hope I'm clear now.
Yes.
Okay. I was indicating that the former president said nothing new. Everyone knows that the biggest challenge we have on our hands in the assessment sector, at the secretary level, is examination fraud at the WASI level. WAEC themselves, in their report on 2023 WASI, that's the most recent one, admit that collusion between teachers, invigilators, supervisors, and then candidates is a threat to the integrity of the process. We also, as Edward, issued our 2023 WASI report, which confirms that this trend didn't start this year. It's actually actually increasing. We appreciate that the Ministry of Education's intervention to bring in the BNI to handle the question of questions has significantly reduced the leakages of questions. But what we have now is that the core questions are not leaking the way they were. Okay, some teachers, students, the candidates for invigilators and supervisors are colluding in exchange for cash and supervising, organized cheating in some centers. And so it is not new. What he's saying is not new. Perhaps what would have been new should have been his recommendation to solve the problem. Because you see, the problem is not just an issue of inaction by the political class or the government. No, it is far from that. We've seen some action in the area of bringing in the BNI to take over question security, and we've seen significant improvement in a short time. But the challenge with the examination room collusion is born out of the fact that Ghana's design of an assessment system for the terminal point in our secondary education defies international best practice. In every country that I know of, especially in advanced jurisdictions, the assessment body, which is our YS, is wholly independent. They come in and assess students who have been taught by staff of the education service, that is teachers. Okay. Now, the reason why they are independent is because the teachers whose output is invariably being assessed, by the assessment body carrying out the assessment on the students, have an interest in the outcome of the examination. And so, if you involve them, the risk of corruption, the risk of conflict of interest is high. But here's the case where in Ghana, even though we have an independent body called WAEC ends up using the same teachers to be their invigilators. Using the same teachers in many instances to be their supervisors. And so it is easy for anyone to conclude that the most basic corruption risk assessment of WAEC system of administering the WASI will tell you that the fact that the person whose output is being assessed, i.e. the teacher, is in the center of supervising the students, it is very, very difficult for the risk of corruption not to be high. And so until we depart from this system and have a truly independent WAEC, which will use third parties to do invigilation, third parties to do supervision, and third parties to do monitoring, you will always have teachers or some teachers colluding with students, to make money by solving questions for them, transmitting them on WhatsApp platform, Telegram platform, and then supervising students to copy from mobile phones in the examination hall because WAEC will not be there. The person representing WAEC are the right teachers that WAEC seeks to assess their performance by assessing the students. So that's the problem we have on our hands. And I will be happy if the former president goes ahead and makes recommendations about how to fix this problem.
And we know that your outfit has been doing some work on that. What are your recommendations?
Our recommendations, what I want to just take you through. We have recommended to government that, one, because government is the sole financier of WAEC in Ghana, government admittance or government readiness to fund WAEC to be able to engage third-party invigilators and supervisors is critical to WAEC adapting that practice. WAEC has tried it in Sierra Leone before. It is expensive. Well, government will find it convenient because using tickets is very cheap, about 20 cedis or so per paper, very, very cheap. And they can afford to pay tickets 1 year after the examination. But you can't do that to third party. However, that doesn't solve the problem. The government must demonstrate commitment that it wants to spend more to get third parties to take over invigilation and supervision. Second, when teachers, in a short term, when teachers are found to participate in examination fraud or at the center of collusion between candidates, they shouldn't be just suspended. I know of a teacher who was teaching management in living in a school in Bono. Our cameras caught him, our videos caught him, openly dictating the full answers to a management in living question in one of the examinations. He went through disciplinary processes and then he was suspended and came back. As I speak, 4 years down the lane, he is now an assigned master. You understand? And so, GES's code of conduct must outrightly dismiss its staff who are found to participate in examination fraud or colluding with students because when they do that, they perform an act which lies at the integrity of the genius school system. So that is the second recommendation that should take place. And then the third is that parents have a role to play. If the sanctions are biting teachers, the parents should also be ready to play a role of not buying mobile phones for their awards and ensuring that they teach their awards integrity. And so everyone has a responsibility, but the heavy responsibility lies on government to take a decision that it will fund WAEC so that WAEC will be able to engage third parties to do invigilation and to provision of WASI. That will be the first step towards decoupling teachers from WASI examination.
Kofi Asare, thank you. The Judicial Service of Ghana and also the Office of the Special Prosecutor have officially committed to suppressing corruption through collaborative efforts and the enforcement of law, as well as the provision of fair hearing to all stakeholders in the criminal justice system. Ghana's Special Prosecutor, Kisi Ejabing, in the last few days raised concerns about how the conduct of some judges inhibits him from successfully prosecuting politically exposed cases, a situation the OSP says spells doom for the country. On your screens now, we have excerpts of that statement, a joint one, of course, coming through from the Judicial Staffs and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, indicating that recalling their joint engagement with other stakeholders, including the Ghana Bar Association, the civil society organizations promoting governance issues, and the National Media Commission, and concerned about the fact that the seriousness of problems and threats posed by corruption and corruption-related activities to the development and democracy, and noting also the important roles of the Judiciary and Office of the Special Prosecutor in combating corruption and corruption-related activities. They are affirming now a joint commitment to suppress and also repress corruption and corruption-related activities in all forms through collaborative enforcement of laws and also the continuous engagement while upholding the rule of law and the provision of fair hearing to all stakeholders in the criminal justice system. And you have both parties actually signing on to that. You're watching The Pulse here on the Joy News channel. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.